Hello everybody and welcome to Valdarak Gaming. My name is Valdarak and today we are playing Citizen Sleeper. It's a game that will release tomorrow and I'm sorry that I'm starting a new series. I don't know, I just can't stop, but I promise no new series after this one. We will finish all the previous ones. I have already played an hour and a half. The only issue is that I forgot to press record, so whoops, I guess. Yeah, so basically the rules are I will read every text that seems important, because it's a very story-driven game. It's inspired by tabletop RPGs, but you will see, we'll have some tutorials. Okay, let's get into it. So basically there are three classes. One is the operator, which is basically it works with drones, and we will basically have roles in the game, so that's why the stats are important. There are dices with for the first time I started with an extractor, but now I want to start. Extractor is a strong one, the operator is the smart one, is like a hacker or something like that. The machinist is good at engineering, as you can see and figure it out. I think I will go with the engineer, or maybe should I go with the operator? Let's go with the engineer and we'll see what happens. Yeah, wait, I will scroll to them and you can read them if you want. And if you want, you can pause to read their description and stuff like that. Every character has a special perk, which we'll explore later. And we will see what these stats are for. Okay, let's go. Ooh. Okay, we are in. So basically I will read everything, so I'm sorry if it annoys you. You can type it in the comment section below if it bothers you. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a fresh wound. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dual nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Let's remember the others. Remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft. Others were found at the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But a freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Let's wait for the call. That's all there is now. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are duly aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but even then, your body has shut many of its systems down to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream when, for once, person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth, not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, then softer and softer, until a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Oh, we are in the game. As you can see, this is the ring, and it looks absolutely marvelous. Let's talk to this person. I will pronounce his name Dragos, although I know some Romanian and Hungarian, so I know a name in Romanian that's pronounced Dragos, but I don't know. We'll go with Dragos right now, so it's more easy to pronounce in English. He's a pragmatic salvager. He looks really cool and well designed, even as a little friend up there. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of its scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, you all told yet? I don't know what was that. Maybe I shouldn't do accents. Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in Sub-Zero back. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside auto locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its rising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring what to do with you, what happened to them. He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation. And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your body, that's theirs now, and you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate and corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least that last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S and ARP wants to protect their property. But if they can't keep hold of you, well then, no one can. Basically we are a sleeper, so basically our consciousness is uploaded into the body, I guess, or maybe only our memories. And S and ARP is like a bad corporation, although which corporation is good, I guess. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleeper. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The station, you'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to do to be getting on with. It trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. You haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you are welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Alright, you head up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the bracks, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. That was hard to read, sorry. Okay, so basically now we are at the tutorial. I won't read everything here, I will try to explain it. Basically the game functions in day and nights like other games, only it's called cycles here. And we need to rest after every cycle. We need to go to the empty container, which is our home currently. It would be cool if we could upgrade our home in the future. Okay, so this is our home, as you can see. It's pretty sad, honestly. Okay, let me show you. This is the character menu. Oh, wait, we will have a tutorial for that in a bit. And this is how we end the day, or the cycle. Okay, I need to drink some water because there's a lot of reading here. You wake up curled in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time you still find this body, the one you wake up in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Oh my god, I got the reference. I think the mylar blanket is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm not sure, but I might be right. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? I want answers. It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What SNR did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power start of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images of your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns, burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking that they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best as you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. It's strange that I'm a robot, but I still need energy. I mean, it's not strange. It's strange that I drink water and eat food. Okay. So let me explain this fast. We have a condition, this is it. This deteriorates because we are far from our corporation and we don't have those mats, and we can break down. I don't know what that means, but we can. These are the dices which we can use every cycle, and the better the dice, I mean the bigger the number, the better the dice, basically. Yeah, and we get lesser dice if our condition is worse. Okay, and we have energy, which is basically food. If we are starving, our condition deteriorates faster. So these are our, basically it's health and food or energy, yeah, in other games. And maybe the dice are sort of like a stamina. Yeah, something like that. Dragos stood. Okay, there are some problems with the text, so we gotta forgive that. They will be corrected in the near future. Dragos stood in the corridor when he closed up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. Which one? This one? Oh, yeah. The drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly rising. It's annoying me that it says eye rising. How are you feeling? The drone chirps. Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know that container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Look, I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. I didn't pull you out of that container out of the goodness of my heart. He looks away. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is crap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few cheats of commission based on what you turn up. Oh yeah, cheats are these ones. I think it will be explained now. It's basically cryptocurrency in the near future. Good lord, we don't get rid of it. Sad. It's these. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we used to trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. Shuffles his wig nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, it trails off. But things being the way they are for me at the yard, he pauses, I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cry to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you are feeling fresher, there's plenty to do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Look at this beautiful art style, it's amazing. Oh, the camera moves when I move my mouse, that's cool. Let's go. Looks like time to get to work. Work. I hope anybody got that reference. Okay, so basically this is part 2 of the tutorial. We have actions we can do, and basically we put those dice in them. And as I said before, you see, the higher the number, the better the dice. So if something positive happens, we get a bigger reward. If something neutral happens, the action we do succeeds, and if negative, it fails. And we get rewarded by clock progress, which will be explained soon, with energy, condition, or items. And here you can see the chances for all the different stuff. But I think it's visible when we hover over them, if I remember correctly. We have a different type of actions. We have repeatable actions and we have critical actions, which we can do only once. And there's another type. We have a risk for every action, as you can see here. So it's very dangerous to do dangerous stuff. Haha, pun intended. Yeah, you can pause and read it. Let's try something so you can see how it works. So we have this engineering here. If I put the 5 dice here, it transforms in a 6 dice. 6-sided dice, or a 6 roll. Yes, would be more precise. Let's see what happens. As you can see, we got some cryo, which is money, and we got progress here. So these progress bars are called clocks, and they basically progress the story, and we unlock some things if we fill them out. For example, this one tracks how much of Dragos' debt is remaining. We can pay it back if we fill this out. Oh, we get some random scrap item. Oh, cool. I don't know what's this. It's not the same character I chose last time, so... Oh, cool. Useful salvage to the right person. Oh, and this is money, basically what we need for food. Okay, we can do some more, but let's leave for now. And, whoops. Rise and navigation. Oh yeah. So navigation is W and S for up and down, the ring, and A and D for rotating the camera. Drives are basically missions, and that's what we'll strive against, or not against, towards, to unlock new things, new places, and to know more about ourselves, because that's the end goal of this game, to progress to the story. And as you can see, there are a lot of places. So there's a shipyard, which you can explore, but it's pretty risky or dangerous. Yeah, there's also... yeah, this is Dragos. This is... I think some ship will come here, but who knows, some merchant. This is, again, some... I think this is the security systems. We can explore it or we can steal dock plans. But you see, we are not really good at tackling problems head-on, so this has a -1. Look at what happens. We have a 50% chance for something negative to happen and 50% chance something neutral to happen if we start this action. But the problem with danger, with a risk level of danger, is that even neutral poses some issues. Maybe loss of energy or something like that. Okay, this is another dock where ships can come in. This is the bright market, and this is something where we can go down. I don't know exactly. We need money for it. I hope we don't need money every time we need to go down. It will be sad. This is the bright market, which I want to strive towards for now, and you will see why. Okay, I don't want to do this because we have a -1 on it. Yep. Let's do this first. Okay, we get 2 local knowledge. Only that? I thought we would get something else. Okay, so you see, we have a 50% chance of neutral, 50% chance of something negative happening. So, I will try. I'm not sure I will succeed. Ooh, we were lucky. 50% chance is not a lot. Okay, so now you see we unlock this clock, and we can talk to a new person. And this yellow dot signifies that we need to find a doctor. This is one of our drives. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You are thankful for the tip-off that the doctor was operating out of this place, but now you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying heb block, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply stabilizer, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle toward the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Let's look at the enforcer. The enforcer is looking down the corridor and you dare to glance at him. His purpose is unmistakable. He is there to intimidate, to threaten, and if necessary, carry through those threats. His broad shoulders are framed with a metal exoskeleton. A couple of mirror-like implants sit below his eyes like mercury teardrops. Subsidiary sense input or aesthetic markers, you aren't sure. You also aren't familiar with the geometric, blade-like tattoo on his arm, but you make a note of it. You avert your eyes when he looks back at the queue. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market-sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Come sit! Comes a sharp voice and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. Oh, cool. So this is the doctor, Sabine. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I'm going to refer to her as a she, I guess. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confused flash across their features. Of confusion flash, yeah. They open their mouths as if to speak. They blink and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit. They gesture to the bed. They gesture to the bed and then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. The bean turns, a compact of diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from the expression when you enter. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They ask, a scanner still to their eye. Well, one cycle, but I guess that's not a few. Ah. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNR doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies like yours, brains as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Brains decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNR remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. My dear Prius, I have no idea what he's saying. Never mind. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no right, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm. And SNR has no reason to bring stabilizer into the market. Wait, today? Yes, today? Okay. Sabine looks up Emphis to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room and Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes. Hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They gave me the space to work, run the door, and take the profit. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Stalwart Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. The being stares down their slate. Their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it will be expensive. But I think we can do it. I don't care why she helps, or why they help. Thank you. Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face. But the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. That was cool. Okay, so this is Emphis. This is where we can buy food. So basically, they are our doctor, and hopefully they can help. Really, if it bothers you that I read everything, you can skip it. I honestly like it, so I don't know. If a lot of people don't like it, I may skip it. Let's go and buy some food. Ooh, I love the art of this. It looks like something from a comic book. Yeah. I love cyberpunk settings. Emphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red flag dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of cheats rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Let's watch. Despite the queue, Emphis doesn't rush. He dresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of torn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Emphis remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the crowd, and Emphis sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you watching him. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? Well, sure, if it's free. He gestures neatly. Come over. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy, the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers. Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with glistening eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the Eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility, sudden arrival. You tell me of the cold and dark of the container, and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had, but can never forget. You tell him that the Eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of streaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins toward the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms. I guess this. Each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away and as you do, take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensor light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. I'm sure of it, we'll be back. Oh cool, new drive. Wait for the stabilizer. Cool. Okay, so this is the low end where that Yatagan is who the doctor works for. That's cool. So food here. What's that? Okay, so this is like, yeah. Okay, so this is basically like gambling. Yeah. And we can sell components. Should we sell scrap? Let's sell it. Let's try. Let's see what happens. I'm curious. Oh, 12 cryo. Trusted trader. Oh, that's very cool. At least now we know what scrap is for. Okay, these are not useful right now. We have still one. What do we do with it? Let's work a bit for Dragos, I think. This is safe, so... Oh, I'm a bit scared. I think we're pushing our luck. Negative outcome. We still got some money from the negative outcome, which is strange. Maybe because this is safe. Yeah, we have some money saved up. That's cool. And you see that food increased our health. I mean our energy or food to max. It gives us 3, I think. Okay, let's go and sleep. Or end the cycle, more precisely. We lose 2 energy and 1 condition after every cycle. This time you don't wake up, instead the ghost of the station, that shifting scattering surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging at the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station, now you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Observe it. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, no sight, you feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of its connections. It is a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out of into space. It is an ingrown thing full of absolute loops and severed pathways. It is a system, a map, and a territory all at once. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second, and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind. A storm of connective nodes, waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Interesting. I wonder what's that. Okay, so I think I will end the episode here after our first cycle. I hope you like the game. Yeah, I know it is a bit story heavy. I read a lot, maybe half our time was spent doing that. But I think it has an interesting story. I'm curious where we come from, what's our story. And I'm also curious about who are these people, what's their story. It's a very interesting game and a unique one in my opinion. And I like this design with the dices. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to support me, you can like, comment, subscribe, or even follow me on social media if you want. And I hope you have a nice day.